contrast with ancient Egypt, British archaeologists and necromancers have discovered the means to reanimate dead bodies, quickly replacing mechanical inventions with cheap, undead labor. But some fanatics plan to summon Moloch, an ancient god, and cast his burning wrath upon London. Only one thing stands in their way. The gentlemen of the Unicorn Club. Her Majesty counts on you in the campaign to thwart the cult. Rise of Moloch is a Victorian adventure board game for 2 to 5 players that takes place in an alternative England where magic and technology have taken an extraordinary turn.
Well, hey everybody, it's Doug here. Welcome back to the World of Smog, Rise of Moloch playthrough session. I had several videos where we just talked about the game and the game mechanics, etc. And then we started to get into the kind of a blind playthrough, getting the game going last session. I learned a lot in that session. Things are going to go tremendously smoother. This really isn't a very complicated game. I like that. I think you'll see a lot of dynamic action in this round as the agents become introduced into the game. So I think we're just going to get right to it. I don't believe I had any major errors that I didn't catch and correct in the episode. So that's good, but we are going to move on and see if we can get some things done and save the damsel, or as the enemies try and kill these agents and capture the damsel and get her off the board, take her out so she can't spill the beans on the bad guys. Alright guys, let's get to it by first just setting up our board. Now remember, I am house ruling this because we're playing solo by actually just shuffling these up. These are the characters' initiative cards for the round, and I'm just going to randomize them. Normally the leader will set them out as appropriate, but we're just going to shuffle them up and place them. So we go 1, 2, 3. My OCD making me want to turn it right side up. 4 and 5. Okay, and then this one here. These are the bad guys. You got now. Remember this. Now the 2 agents are involved. They will enter the board this turn, which I believe will be very interesting. See how that plays out. 1, 2. Now remember, they like the gentlemen have 2 actions in a round, which is great for the enemies. It's going to beef up what they're doing, even though the zombies have done a pretty good job at swarming the police station. So they've done all right there. They're getting around. They're blocking some of the traffic, and it's going to give the agents an opportunity to come in and kind of mess that up even further. So without further ado, I think we're just going to get to it. Now again, normally in the planning phase, or let me just get the phase terminology correct so I can share it with you, right? The order phase, the leader of the gentleman would place those cards out, and then in the order that they want, not randomized like I did that. I house ruled it that way because since I'm playing a solo version of this, really, I wanted to make it as random as possible so I couldn't entirely predict the outcome and give an unfair advantage to one of the other sides. But now we're going to move to our activation phase. So, who's going to go first? It looks like it's going to be Emma Swanson. Well, that's a good thing because Emma Swanson is a beast. So let's go see what she's going to do there. Now, the agents aren't on the board yet, so we can't do anything with them, but she does have some options. Now, one of the things I want to point out about Emma's weapon, her symbiotic rifle, is that you don't see the symbol over it, much like you would see with the Bobbies that has this arrow symbol, which means it's a short-range weapon. This is not. This can be fired entirely across the board as long as the character has line of sight, meaning a clear shot at the enemy. No cover or anything like that. It could be cover. You can still shoot into cover, but we're not going to have to worry about that because she is going to do some serious damage on a couple of zombies. See if we can clear the way to let the bobbies out of the building before they burn to death. That would be good, right? Now this is Emma here, and she has the potential. One of the reasons I'm thinking about keeping her there is she wouldn't be sure where and when the agents are going to come onto the board. They have to come in one of the exits, so they're going to come in here or up way up at the top. So if she stays there kind of neutrally, she can decide which direction to go, while at the same time she doesn't have any interference in shooting the zombies that are over there attacking the bobbies. So she's going to shoot the first one, the one that's directly in front of the bobby, or she'll start with the one to the left. That would give the bobby the ability to move. Well, no, she'll start with the one in front, because then if the fire comes through the window, there won't be somebody stuck there as well. So hopefully they won't be stuck there at all, but she is going to take a shot on this bobby here. So what her roll will be is her trigger is a 4. So she's going to have 4 dice, plus she gets a bonus die for the symbiotic rifle. So that's good. Now, if she was injured, she's not. If she was, though, she could beef that up to heal her as well, but she doesn't need to do that. So she's got 5 dice to roll against these guys here. Let's see what she gets. She got, wow, she got a lot of hits, guys. She got 1, 2, 3 hits. Now, the best that a zombie could ever do is dodge of 2. So there's no way for this zombie to defend himself. He does have an attack. The zombies have an attack boost, but it does a knockdown. But we're not going to worry about that. Yeah, so that is going to. There's nothing that I don't need to roll for the zombie. I could roll and just say, what do we get? Well, we actually got 2 dodges, but it doesn't matter because he only takes 1 hit. So he would have taken the 1 hit anyway. That is going to kill the 3rd zombie there with the symbiotic rifle. Now, that was her first action. Now remember, she's got 2, so she's going to take the 2nd action and do that again. So we're going to see if we can take out this other zombie here and clear the way for the bobbies. Again, there's no... Oh, look at that, man. She is just a beast right now. Because while this equals 3 hits, and she doesn't get anything for the hit plus. You notice there's 2 of those. The zombies do. She doesn't. In this particular case, she doesn't have an item that does that. But these crowns also represent hits for her. As you can see, on attack, a crown or a hit. I can take those crowns, though. It says on attack or gain 2... I can use it as a hit or gain 2 ether. I think she's going to gain another 4 ether. That would be awesome for her. So she's quite beefed up with ether. And it states in the rules that this is actually, that's one of the few ways that gentlemen get ether back. They really don't have a lot of different ways to gain it back. So it's important that we use those crowns, especially when she got enough hits to kill the zombie anyway, to do that. So let's take that zombie out. It is kaput. Bush, there we go. Now, I won't do, as we go along, I'm not going to do quite as much explaining on the attacks and everything, but I just want to make sure, now that I feel I'm comfortable with the rules after the last session and some more review of the rules and things, I feel pretty good about it. I think we're in a good place. So, the next thing she's going to do is actually use her bonus action, which is to take a 3rd shot using 2 ether. Right here it says make 1 free attack action with the symbiotic rifle. That's her symbiotic link. Takes 2 ether, which means that the enemies now, the bad guys, have an additional 2 ether. But maybe we can take out a 3rd zombie and get him out of the way. That'd be really awesome. So being that we don't know that the zombie standing right in front of the damsel right here is not going to activate next, she's going to use this action to try and shoot that one. However, if you look at the way line of sight works, you take it from this corner, to, I guess it would be the center of this. There is another zombie blocking it, which means that zombie potentially has cover. Now, with the last zombie, you noted I didn't bother to roll the defense dice because, again, she got 3 hits. There was no point in rolling defense dice. So in this case, though, it would give potentially another opportunity, not more dice, but another opportunity to defend, or dodge rather, because this would reduce the chance of it being hit as well because of cover. So I think she's going to do that, though. That is really important because if we don't kill that zombie, it could potentially attack the damsel in the next turn. Now the bobbies can absorb those hits. It's one of their special abilities. They have that special ability to do that in this scenario, but I don't necessarily want them to if we can avoid it and keep them alive, right? So let's do this. We're going to roll the dice and see what we get. Well, that was bad, actually. Now, these are not the defense dice of zombies, but she only got one hit. Now, that means that the zombies are actually going to roll, and if they get an umbrella or a hat, then they were able to successfully dodge, and they got both. So that shot missed. And unfortunately, that was her bonus action. So hopefully, someone else can take out that zombie in the next turn. She just totally missed it. But next up is going to be the bad guys. So let's go do that and see who's going to go next. You know it's the bad guys because this goes 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. So we're going to draw this card. He says number 2, Nemesis, and it's going to be the minions. That's kind of what she didn't want to see happen. So the minions. That means the zombies are going to go. And while we're at it, I do believe we're going to spawn. Oh, I can't yet. We don't have the agents out, man. So right now I'm a little prohibited on the side of the bad guys because they can't do this yet. I would have done this. We would have put out 2 more zombies, but I need the agents out first. And so as the villain player, we're just going to go on the attack. However, and I didn't show this, I did place the 2 ether that Emma gave to the enemy on that card because I'm anticipating they're going to bring in some new zombies. So when you get ether from the good guys, you do assign it to something. Okay, and so that's how you continue to beef up your powers. Now, if I had the opportunity, I could activate that power right now because it's my turn. I can also activate it anytime. Well, I can also activate it on the chaos turn, but we can't do that right now. So we're going to continue and move on. So yeah, let's do that. We're just going to keep. I think we're just going to have to fight it out. I can't imagine. I have 1 random ether. I could place it. Maybe I'll do this. I'm going to place it here. I'm going to place it here and draw a new chaos card. See what I get because I don't really like the ones. And it always says once per activation at any time during it, the Nemesis may spend ether from 1 power card and only 1 power card to activate the effects. So I think we'll do this one right now because since we can't do the others, and I'm going to grab these cards here and draw a new one. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm just going to draw it so that maybe I have something that I can use in a future turn. I can't play it right now, but that's okay. Well, maybe I can. It depends on the power, actually. Okay. Well, that could be interesting. I may actually use this. We'll see. Okay, let's go back to the board. So the Nemesis was blessed with having this card. I was thinking about the right time to do it. It says Powder Keg, neutralize, let me get this in view for you. Neutralize 1 of your minions, make an attack 5 dice roll against all adjacent figures, including your own. Well, this guy here is going to blow up. He had a powder keg. Kaboom! He's going to blow himself up. He's going to do a 5 dice attack against all 3 of those figures right there. Adjacency is considered diagonal, as I understand it. So that is, I believe, what he's going to do. I'm going to just double check that. I do think that's what's going to happen next, and that's going to be really devastating. So this fine zombie gentleman blows up, kaboom, and attacks each one of those characters with a 5 dice attack. That's going to be pretty powerful. Let's see what happens. Okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to attack this Bobby up the top of the screen. Let's see what happens there. Well, we got effectively 3 hits. Now the Bobby cannot defend against that many hits. Even though he's got an agility of 2, he can only at most get 2 hits, and the Bobbies have 1 health. So there's no sense in rolling its defense. It is dead. Now the next up we have is the damsel herself. I mean, this could not be worse for the heroes. Let's see what happens there. Well, that wasn't that great. Only 2 hits, so she's already surviving it. She took 2 hits, but she's got a 4 agility, so she's going to roll 4 dice to defend. She actually defended against 2 of them, so she did take 1 hit. Now, I could kill the other Bobby, too, because they can absorb, they can defend her against the enemies, but that would kill that Bobby and leave her very vulnerable against 2 other zombies that are going to move this turn. So we're going to take, she's just going to take that hit. She can take 3, so we're not in the worst shape with her. And now I have the last Bobby to go. So there's still a chance that the Bobby is going to blow up, but we'll see. The Bobby took, well, he only took 1 hit, so he's got a very good chance of dodging it. He gets to roll 2 dice to dodge, and he did. He succeeded. So that 3rd Bobby took no damage, and so that's the scenario. The 1 Bobby just blew up. The other Bobby took a point of damage, or took no damage, and the damsel herself got a little singed by the powder keg going off in their face. That could have ended the entire scenario if the damsel, because there was a very good chance the damsel could have taken 3 hits and not been able to defend against it. So there is a chance. Now the Bobby could have absorbed one of them, but we got lucky enough as the good guys that didn't happen. However, it did help the Nemesis quite a bit. But now we have to finish activating the actual bad guys. So again, we did use an ether from the pool that we had on the. Well, we didn't. We played a card. We did instill chaos and drew a card, but then we played a card. And I have enough on the summon minion thing to summon some more minions, but we can't do that yet. Okay, next up, let's move some zombies. Well, I think we could cause some trouble here by simply moving, you can't see me, let me back up just a little bit, moving him into here to make them encounter him. Now he can't attack or anything, remember they only get 1 action. However, these 2 guys are adjacent to the Bobby. Now they could go after the damsel, but I want them to get that cool attack bonus that they get. You can read it here. It says group attack for the same target. Each additional ally and minion gets +2 dice. Remember, they don't roll individually, but they would get +2 dice. So that would give the zombie they have a 3 on their attack. And that would give them a total of 5 dice against that Bobby. So another 5 die attack against the Bobby. That's what we're going to do. Seems like the best option right now. Because the Bobbies aren't coming back. And again, that was 4 hits. So there's absolutely no way for the Bobby to defend against that. This is a hit plus, which means he would have been knocked down too if he'd survived it. But the crown is also a hit, and that's a hit. The best that the Bobbies could do is 2 deflections. They only got 1. The Bobby is dead. So the Bobbies are falling to the zombies, but we've killed a lot of zombies. There's not that many zombies. There's only 3 left on the board, and a lot of hero activation left to go. And the Bobbies themselves haven't activated. We got to get somebody to help defend the damsel. She's all by herself up there. This could be a very short-lived scenario. That powder keg was really impactful on the game. All right, let's see who activates next. That was the zombies. Now we're going to see who of the gentlemen activate now. Okay, so next up it's going to be Abigail Sutherland, who is, well, she's in a doorway. So for her first action, she's going to have to attack the zombie that's in front of her. Now, she has a punch of 3, and I believe she's going to spend 1 of her ether to do her channel spirits. It's a 1 upkeep, so right now she is channeling spirits, and she can continue to do that every turn. But we're going to take this and we're going to put this on the command minions, which will allow the Nemesis to command 2 additional minions in a round, even though we're getting a little low on minions. But she's going to attack and see what we get. That's going to give her 4 dice on the minion there. So she's going to have 4 dice on that zombie. Let's see what she rolls here. Now, why does she have 4 dice? Well, she's got a punch of 3, and she activated her channel spirits for 1. So she got 4 dice. Wow, she only hit once. That's bad, but it's a 1 plus. I don't think that does anything for her stuff. It doesn't. Okay, so now the zombie gets to roll 2 dodge dice. She may dodge this. That'd be bad. Come on, Abigail, get it together. Oh, and he didn't. He actually did not. He rolled 2 hits. So this zombie was destroyed by Abigail. Poof. And that was her first action. For her second action, she's going to head out of this room. We've got to get things done. So she's going to go 1, 2, 3. She's heading right for the action. She's got to go save the damsel. And that is going to be her turn. So that was a pretty good turn. Now, you know what she could do is go defend, really defend. So we have this, right? We have this. Make 1 free agility action. That would allow her, an agility action would allow her to move. She's already adjacent. She's not going to do that. Remember, adjacency, if she moves out of those spaces, she's going to take hits from the zombies she's adjacent to. I mean, she could have easily just come here and then done another agility action to go around, but that's okay. I think she's fine. We'll save that agility action for when we really, really need it. All right, that is her turn. So she blew up one of the zombies with her magical, arcane, spiritual sword, channeling the spirits themselves to do so, and moved out into the street to fight the zombies. Things really heated up this turn. Wow, that was awesome. All right, now let's go to the next activation of the Nemesis. Now, you may ask why I was able to play the powder keg. It says any time, so that means any time on your turn you can do that. It's literally any time. So let's see what happens next. So the chaos cards, when you draw them, is impacted by your turn, but when you play them is impacted by the card itself. So it is the chaos turn. So I can, let's see, when I draw chaos, I can use any power. I could activate those 2 minions and go after the yeah, I could activate those 2 minions and go after the damsel, or move closer. Let me think about this. So I can do nothing, right? I can play one of my powers that I have powers on. I can play a chaos card. I don't want to. Actually, I might. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm actually going to do that. I am going to play a chaos card, and I'm just going to double check to make sure I can do this. I'm pretty sure I can. So, powers. When the chaos card is revealed on the activation board, the Nemesis can activate each of their powers. Well, so actually I can't do that because I don't have an ether on this, so I cannot play a card. But I can do this. I might as well do that. I'm going to activate up to 2 minions, so I'm going to spend that. That's going to go back into the pool. And then I am going to move this guy. I'm not going to move him because I don't want to take potential damage from the movement. I'm going to move that guy 1 step closer. And on this guy, he's going to turn and attack Abigail. Why not, right? Why not? So we are going to roll an attack. That is going to be 3 dice against Abigail. Abigail's pretty defensible, but let's see what he does. Oh, wow, he got 1 hit. Yeah, that one hit plus. So if it succeeds, she will be knocked down if she does not dodge it. And she has an agility of 4 because her channel spirits gives her a +1. So she's got 4 dice, so she's not likely to take anything from this. And, oh man, she almost failed. She only got 1 dodge. She managed to dodge that. Oh, but we're going to get to see one of her special abilities in action. Abigail has the counterattack. She can spend an ether to immediately do an attack, and she's going to do that. That means she's going to do this and give 1. It's just 1 ether. She's going to give 1 ether to the enemy, who is going to put this on Instill Chaos, which is going to allow him to draw a card potentially. Alright, and then she's going to attack the enemy again with 4 dice. Well, Abigail's having quite the turn, even though it's the enemy's turn. So let's see what she does. Oh, look at that. She got 2 hits, just 2 hits, so there's a chance the zombie will not die if he gets to box both of these with his 2 dice. He did not, so the zombie is gone. Poof. Man, the gentlemen are sure taking the zombies out quickly. There is only 1 left. Wow. But the Nemesis, so the challenge here, see, I would have planned this out better had I been playing as the Nemesis, because I would have had the agents come out before the Chaos card, so I could actually pull an additional 2 minions onto the board, right? So I would have had at least 1 agent out that I could have brought in some minions with. But I don't. So that's the way it goes, because we're playing with the house rule of just randomizing the turn order, because I'm playing it solo. Okay, so anyway, that is that. That was pretty effective for Abigail, even though it wasn't her turn. She did give some more power to the enemy, but that's okay. Now let's move on to the next hero activation. You know, I could have played that Chaos card. I probably will, but I'll probably do it on the next turn. I want to see what happens. So there's a chance for us to draw another card. Okay, allies are going to go. So now the Bobbies get to go, and the the damsel. The damsel cannot attack the zombie, and she doesn't want to move because she would take damage. So the bobbies. The bobbies are now in a realm of safety. They're going to move. This guy is going to move 2. He's going to move 1, 2 to here. This one will move 1, 2 to get out of the building. He's not going to die by fire. This one with the fire extinguisher way up at the top, he is just going to go 1, 2. I'm not worried about him not being able to get out the door because he's got the fire extinguisher. No fire can be placed on him. Now here's a problem. The damsel. The damsel almost has to get out of there and take a point of damage because the fire is going to spread out that window next turn. Now, she doesn't want to move diagonally. She wants to keep that crate in there because if one of the agents comes out with a ranged attack, they will be able to attack the damsel. And anytime you move out of a space where you have an adjacent enemy, you do take a point of damage. I don't really have any way to heal her. But the gentlemen are closing in to be able to help, so I think we don't have a choice. Here's what she's going to do. She is simply going to move up behind this crate to get away from the potential oncoming of the fire. That is going to mean that she's going to take her second point of damage. There's only one more before she is history. So this could be, again, a short scenario for the gentlemen if they don't make some pretty good moves right now. And that's really it for the allies, guys. That's all they can do. So now we're going to go back to the villain. Now, we know that the next 2 are going to be the agents. They're coming out now. So the next agent, the one that's going to come out, is going to be Tobias. Now, Tobias is not actually the ranged guy. He's a melee guy. He's pretty darn tough. This is Tobias right here. Let's go get him on the board and see what he's going to do. And just like the gentleman, the agents get 2 attacks, or 2 actions rather. And I think what we're going to do, I was thinking about having them both come out on the north side. But remember, I just have to plink that the young lady once. She just needs to get hit. Well, you know what? I take it back. Hold on, guys. Let me show you something. Before we go on to the next action, I want to show you something. These are the things you got to think about in the game. So we have the damsel. She was here. Remember, the bobbies in this scenario are allowed to absorb a point of damage. I could have just killed the bobby with the fire extinguisher, moved him first, then she moves and doesn't take the damage. I think we would have done that. So we will lose this bobby instead, and he had the fire extinguisher. But it means that the damsel still has 2 of her 3 hits. And then she still moves there because she absorbed the... Somehow he jumped in the way of the zombie, giving her a swipe as she went by. That will help her survive just a little bit longer because that bobby wouldn't have been much use after that anyway. We got to get some agents over there and get some help. Now we'll move on to Tobias's turn. And we're going to have Tobias enter here. He has to enter at one of the exits. And he's tough, guys. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to move the stuff off so we can look at his sheet briefly. You see that he's got a 3 agility, so he can move 3. He's got a 5 punch attack. And he's going to do it, without a doubt. I think, yeah, and he's got 12 hits, plus he's got the charge ability. I think he probably will charge. And he can do Bloody Surgery attack boost. If this attack deals damage, heal Tobias 2 up to 3. Well, we don't need to worry about that. He's not hurt yet. He's also got Blood Brothers. If Emerson is dead, Tobias has an extra action. But we don't need to worry about that. What we can do, though, is I'm going to read the charge ability. I think that's what we're going to do. Charge. The figure may spend 1 ether to make a charge special action. Target a figure in line of sight. Oh, he does not have line of sight because this corner. So he cannot charge with that first action. What he can do is go 1, 2, 3, and then charge with his second action. So line of sight, then he can spend 1 ether to move. I mean, the result is he didn't need to do that either because he could have just moved 1, 2, 3 and used his second action to attack. And that's what he'll do. Because, I mean, he doesn't need to spend an ether to charge when he has to move to get in position anyway. So that's not going to be that effective, but he does have five dice in this attack. So he's going to attack. He comes up behind the Marquis with his big saw blade and just swipes it at him. The Marquis is not expecting this to happen. Here is, again, Sawbones, or Tobias rather. You see that big blade that he's got right there. That's his weapon. He's swiping it out. It's called the I don't remember. There's a name for it, but anyway, it's on his sheet. Okay, so we're going to roll the attack here. See, it's going to be 5 dice against the Marquis. Now, he did not do too well. He only got 2 hits. If you can see, yeah, good. Okay, he got 2 hits against the Marquis. He really can't do anything else, so the Marquis is just going to defend. The Marquis has a agility of 3, so he's going to roll 3 dice to defend against it, which he failed completely. So the Marquis is going to take 2 hits. The Marquis has only 4 in his base, his first lot of hit points. So that is going to piss the Marquis off to no end. He's just taken 2 hits. Now, if he takes 4, he gets a torment. But remember, he's got some things like this. Each time he neutralizes a minion, he can heal damage. So he doesn't have any minions there right now, though. That being said, though, Tobias would not activate the summon minions ability because he knows his partner's going next, and the partner is going after the damsel instead of the gentleman. So let's continue. Now, I didn't do it because I thought he had a good chance of defending this, but I do want to remind everybody that he's got the evasion ability. He could have spent how many ether? But see, he would have had to given that ether 1 ether to add 3 dice to his dodge attack. But with how few hits Tobias got, I wasn't that worried about it. I thought he'd be able to easily dodge that, and he didn't. It's unfortunate, but I just want to remind, in case you thought I forgot it, I didn't forget it. I just didn't think it was valuable because of the few hits that he got. I only got 2. Could have easily dodged at least one of them, and he's got the ability to heal. So not too worried about that. But let's move on. So let's see which of the good guys goes next. It's going to be the Marquis. So the Marquis is going to go. I think for his his first action, remember, he wanted to go after that stuff. So if I'm playing a campaign, there's some value in that. Now, he can't take a ton more hits, but he also doesn't want to stay in melee with this guy. The Marquis is okay at melee. He's not fantastic, but what he can do is use his bonus action to send Bismarck after Tobias to do some damage there, right? So we can do that. Bismarck, I can choose one. I can make an attack against an enemy of 3 in line of sight. So the cat leaps on to Tobias and attacks him with 3 dice. Let's see what we get. I'm just going to tilt this over a little bit more so we can see that. He got 1 hit on Tobias. Now Tobias has an agility of 3, so he's going to roll 3 dice to defend. And he defended all 3. Wow, so he didn't take any damage from that. That's the Marquis' bonus action. Then the Marquis is going to open this door and move 1. That's 2 agility actions. And his 3rd agility point is going to be spent to pick up this token. Now, he does, however, take another point of damage for doing that because Tobias gets to kind of whack at him. He doesn't get to dodge that either. Just takes it for moving out of the space with an adjacent enemy. However, we're going to get to draw a gear and a arsenal card, which will be useful. Here's the gear cards. Just give them a quick shuffle. And by the way, we're almost done with this round. It's been a pretty exciting round. A lot happened. I don't think this is going to go too many rounds, actually. What do we get? We get a surgical bag. When you would gain a torment card, discard this instead. Well, that is incredibly useful for him. And then we're going to get the arsenal cards out. Let's see what we get in the arsenal cards. These are common arsenal cards. There are much more powerful ones, but in this scenario, that's what we draw. Let's see what we get. We get a bullwhip. Well, that's kind of cool for the Marquis, isn't it? You can spend an ether, you get a knockdown, and some other effect. I'll tell you what that other effect is. I don't know them off the top of my head yet, but let's look at the card. Oh, it's daze. Okay, so you get to knock them down and daze them if you spend an ether. If the attack deals damage, lose 1 ether per daze icon. For each ether not lost, deal 1 damage. So when he hits the other, he can spend an ether to get those effects, and he can take the ether from the bad guys. That's pretty good, isn't it? I like it. That's pretty awesome. Okay, yeah, so let's move on from there. All right, now I think, though, that we are going to, that's going to be the end of the activation for the Marquis. Oh, actually, that was his first action still. He still has 1 more action. He's going to move. He's just going to go 1, 2, 3. He's heading in the direction of the damsel. She's the one that is most important. So, yeah, that's what we're going to do. Okay, let's move on now to the next action, which would be the action of the bad guys. It's going to be the other agent coming out. So we're going to draw this card, and we see that it is in fact Emerson. Let's take a quick look at Emerson just to refresh. Emerson is a ranged guy. You can see that his trigger is 5. He's got 10 hits. He does have the evasion ability. He starts with 3 ether, and he can do a big whopping attack boost here, and called a headshot. And he also gets an additional action if Tobias is dead. So Emerson, who is right here, is going to appear up north. Okay, so he's going here. Now, he's got no line of sight on the damsel, unfortunately, but what he can do, I think these crates, they block line of sight completely. I'm going to check just to be sure. I don't think they offer cover. I think that they block line of sight. I think that's the whole point of having them there, because that way you can't just shoot her as you come on the board, which would have been terrible, right? So there's enough blocking, enough blocking the exits where if she stays in the right positions, they can't really get her. However, she's trapped because if she does move to either side and he's in the right place, he can shoot her. So, but what we're going to do for now is he is going to go 1, 2, 3. Now he's got line of sight on both of those areas, and his ranged attack, as you can see, has no limit on the range. He just gets to shoot, and he's going to take a shot at Abigail Sutherland, who is right south of him, right here. And his attack will do. He's not going to spend the ether on the attack boost right now, but he is going to make an attack with 5 dice against Abigail. Now, Abigail does have a 4 agility right now because of her channeling of the spirits, which she's been doing every turn. Oh, and we are going to activate a power. I think I'll wait until after the attack. We're going to definitely summon the 2 minions in with him to make things more difficult. Okay, so here's the 5 dice attack. He is using his weird rifle thing to shoot at her, and see what he does. Okay. Well, he got only 1 hit out of that whole 5 die attack. Wow. So he got 1 hit. It's a crown. It doesn't do anything extra. He could spend, he didn't get a plus or anything, so he's not going to spend anything to do anything else. And she's going to get 4 dice to defend. She easily defended against it, shot wearing wide. Emerson did not show up for this fight very well. So Abigail, who's floating right here, the bullet just passed through her wispy hair and didn't do anything to her at all. Good job, Abigail. All right. Now, that crown, I could have used it as ether, I suppose, but I'm not going to worry about that. That's not, it was better to try and start doing some damage to these heroes. Remember, she only takes 3 before she takes a torment card, so doing some damage to her is great. However, the last thing we're going to do before we activate the last of the heroes, which will be Walter Cavendish, we're going to use this power. Now, I think, if I'm not mistaken, on any activation, right, when the Nemesis gains ether, once per Nemesis activation at any time during the Nemesis turn, you may spend ether on a power card. When you get the difference is when you get a Chaos card, Nemesis player can activate each of the powers once, not just one. So I can activate 1 power card only when it's not the Chaos turn, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to activate this one, this summon minions. We're going to bring in 2 more zombies, and we're going to put them in a protective position with Emerson there, and block the give him some cover as well in case they start doing some ranged attacks on him, which they will. So that will help defend him a little bit. Like I said, things just got a little nastier for the gentlemen, but not really. They're in a pretty good position at this point, I think. So next up, we know that we are going to have our guy Cavendish go. So let's take his turn next. Lightning just reeling out from his gloves. He goes 1, 2, 3, and I think for his action, he's got cover from her, so he will turn and blast one of the zombies. Does he have short range? I got to double check that. Yes, unfortunately they have to be within 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It is within 4 of the Tesla gloves. So how do I know that? That symbol right there that shows the 2 outside arrows means that there's limited range. It's 4. So I can also pay 1 or 2 ether to gain this many dice. So I could gain a +2 dice to this attack, which I probably would want to do because it also gives me the spread ability, which means target +1 and +1 enemy in adjacent square. So I could hit both of the zombies with the Tesla gloves. If I spend 2 ether, I'm going to do it. He's spending 2 ether to get 2 plus dice and get the spread ability. The Nemesis is going to put the 2 plus ether on the summon minions power again. And that will give him, let me see, he's got 3 dice for trigger, plus 1 for the gloves themselves, and then he's got 2 more for spending the ether on this attack, and he's going to hit both of those zombies. So that's pretty good. So he's arcing the lightning from here to over there. Let's see what he gets. Wow, I am not rolling good for attacks. Look at that. He got, well, that was not a crown. He got 1 crown and 1 hit. So on the crown, he could convert that to ether, but he's not going to. He's going to use it as a hit. So he's got 2 hits on the first zombie, because if he doesn't roll 2 defenses, he's going to die. He did not, so this zombie is kaput. So he killed the first one, and then on the second one, he gets another attack. Let's see what he gets there. Okay, that one was a lot better. He got 3 hits. There's no way for the zombie to really defend against it, so he is taking that one zombie out too. That was a quick work on the zombies. Wow. But that is going to be the end of the activations. That's the end of the round. So we're going to move on then to wrap up. We're going to advance the round token. So it's going to go up to 3. We haven't killed any of the agents or any of the gentlemen yet. Nemesis and the leader take back all activation cards. So we're going to take those off the board. And then we spread the fire. So in this case, we're going to spread the fire outside. I think it's going to go away in 1 turn anyway. And then we'll just spread the other fire there. It's not going to matter. That buildings are going to go up in flames, and everybody's away from danger at this point. So I'm not too worked up about how that's going to end up. Trying to get the bobbies to head over to the damsel. The damsel's kind of in a pickle if the one of the agents, if Emerson goes first, he could end the game because he's in a position to go after the damsel and attack her and kill her. She's got 2 health left. She does have a 4 agility. He doesn't have to, but he could use his attack boost on her and just really wail on her with a ranged attack. Yeah, he could. And that's probably what he's going to do if he activates first. We'll see. We don't know. If the minions activate first, then the zombie's going to get to do an attack on her. So it really depends on which agent goes first or whether or not the bobbies go first for the good guys. So randomizing this has really made it interesting for us because it's put us in a pickle, right, where we don't know how this is going to roll out. However, that is the end of the second round. I do think we covered everything. I don't think we made any massive mistakes. You know, I could have actually suffered a damage and done even more to those zombies, but we killed them both anyway. So I didn't use the high tension power of Walter Cavendish. I'll reserve that for the agents, the agents of the bad guy. And I don't know that we're going to get the damsel out of this scenario. It really depends on how the cards roll out next turn. Now, if I were playing as normal, I would probably have Emma go first and get just up in Emerson's face, Emerson's face, and try and stop him from, at least deal damage to him as he tries to go towards the damsel and shoot her, because he'd have to go past her and we'd get a big attack on him too, and she could use the harpoon actually and pull him toward her, which she will without a doubt do. If that's probably what she would do, because either way he's going to be end up in a place where he could take a shot at the damsel, but he might lose his life in the process. So we'll see how this rolls out next round. It's interesting. Remember that, so Abigail does have this harpoon, which if she gets a hit plus can pull the target into the adjacent square next to her. That would be pretty awesome if she could pull that off. She's floating over to him, channeling the spirits, trying to do some damage. Oh, she will be losing another point next turn. She's got to keep it up or drop it. Another point of ether, which means she's going to fuel the bad guys a little more. The good guys haven't used a lot of ether in attacking, so the Nemesis hasn't gotten a lot of extra bonuses from that. However, we do have the ability to instill chaos, so when the chaos card comes up, we'll get a card, probably, and be able to summon 2 minions. That'll be helpful. So it really depends on who goes first. So if Emerson goes first, we're summoning those minions anyway. Try and get a couple more zombies on the board. We got to keep trying to pump zombies out. Yeah, wish there was a better way or even a more opportunity to do that. But we really can't until we reach higher levels in the scenario and we get stuff that the Nemesis can do more of, like summon extra minions. So that's where we're at, guys. And we'll see how this rolls out. Now, this is turn 2. You can see the game actually progresses rather quickly. This has turned into something that now there's no secure win for the good guys yet. They're doing pretty well, but the agents are healthy. I mean, we've got no damage on either of the agents at this point. They have tons of attacks. The damsel's kind of trapped. She's got to figure out where she's going to go. She's got no protection. So it's still up in the air whether and how this is going to go. One good shot from Emerson can end the game. We got to try and neutralize him somehow. So if we pull Emerson in and the damsel gets to go next, she can get behind that crate and defend her, block herself again. The zombie's going to go after her, but that's okay because he can only move. So it's got a lot of options. All right, guys. Well, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I am enjoying this playthrough. I think this is a pretty neat game. I can't wait to play it with the family and stuff. It's pretty fun, and the characters are cool. This needs to be a role-playing game. As well as a pure cooperative game. I mean, come on, Simon. Really, this game is designed for coolness. You need to make some kind of story-based app like Mansions of Madness or Imperial Assault or one of those. You got to do it, guys. This game deserves it. So do the others, by the way. They've got to do this. Maybe they can contract with a third party to do it, and they can sell it for a couple bucks and make some money on it. I don't know, but it's got to be done. So thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and I'll talk to you in the next episode.